Hello, my name is Yana and I'm here on Scorn to talk about my Scorn relationship. So it was 2007. I was dating a guy, we just call him Greg. Greg and I started out good, dating, you know, the good dates, movies, you know, we took care of each other. I got a job offer to move to Florida, which was great. Wanted a better life for my children, so I took the job offer. He followed me to Florida. So when we got there, of course it was my job offer. He did not have a job. So I supported everyone. Me, him, my children. I was the breadwinner. I supported all of his dreams. He wanted to be a chef. So we found a bar who would sponsor him as a chef. I bought all the equipment for him, made sure he had everything he needed. Things were going good. Life was looking good. He had a good job, promising career. I backed him 100%. So again, it was inside of a bar. So he would at first come home at a normal time, bar over at 2. He would be home by 2:30. Then it started being 3:30. Then it started being 4:30. Like I said, we had a good life, real good life. So I never really questioned him about him coming in at 4:30. I just figured the bar ran over. He would always say, well, it was a special guest. It was a local rapper there, and that's why he, you know, will be there at 4:30. So, of course, me being a supportive girlfriend, I believed him. So, like I said, we had great times. We went on trips every weekend. We would get in a car, drive to Destin, Florida, which is a very popular spot in Florida. A lot of actors and stars go and visit there. We were in Destin, and I don't know why, but he always said, well, everywhere I go, I know somebody. Well, particularly, we were in this restaurant called The Back Porch in Destin, and it was these women across the room. And they were waving like, hey, Greg, how you doing? I'm like, how you know them? He's like, yeah, they're just from the bar. So I, you know, brush it off. Of course, he's in a bar. He works in a bar. Everybody knows him now because we, you know, our restaurant's getting pretty popular down there. We have like Bud Light sponsoring us. We were doing really well. So I thought. So fast forward, I became extremely ill from a botched surgery in 2015. I had a botched surgery. I was really sick. Like, I was in a coma for 2 weeks. When I came home, I still required a lot of 24-hour care. My mom came down to Florida to help care for me because he wanted to still maintain the business at the bar. Now I'm still extremely sick, so I don't know what's going on. But my mom keeps making these comments like, you know, Greg didn't come home last night. He said he was staying the night at one of the bar people's houses. I'm like sick, but not really understanding like what she's talking about. So as I'm getting better, I'm noticing patterns. Like, okay, I remember when my mom was here, she said he would stay out all night. So it started being where from him staying home from the bar at 4:30, now he wouldn't come home. I required IV care where I had to be at the IV center to get my IV meds at 7:30 in the morning. There's plenty of days where he just was not there to take me. And he would always say, well, you know, the bar ran over. I was so drunk I couldn't drive home, so I stayed at Tom House, and, you know, I believed him. So as I got better, I started doing what every other woman would do. I started going through his phone, checking his messenger, checking, you know, just different things. I started just knowing things. So I'm checking his message, and I see messages from girls like, hey, you forgot to give me my $100. Like, okay, why are you giving her $100? He's like, yeah, she had a bar tab and she didn't have money on her, so I paid it, or she paid it. Like, it was always a story as to why these women were texting him. So we were at the bar one day and I was helping him close down the bar, and the same woman I saw in Destin just happened to be at the bar. And I'm like, oh, isn't that the girl we saw in Destin? He's like, no, that's not the same one. I think she just looks like her. And I'm like, no, that's her. So I go over and I'm like, hey, how you doing? I'm Ayanna, I'm Greg's wife. Like, nice to meet you. And she's like looking stunned and like surprised. Like, wait a minute, wife? I didn't know he had a wife. Like, yeah, I'm his wife. We just got married a year ago. We moved here in 2008. We got married in 2013. Well, no, 2014, because this was 2015. She's like, yeah, I didn't know he was married. Like, yeah, we're married. She's like, yeah, he never tells anybody he's married. So I'm like, okay, so you're hiding our marriage. And she's like, yeah, I never even seen a ring on him. I'm like, okay. So I asked him all of this when we get home. He's like, no, that girl's just starting a mess. She wants me, but I don't want her. You know, the typical denial. So a year goes by. We're trying to get back together. And like I said, remember, I was extremely sick. So I would always get pain pills, but they would come up missing. He's like, yeah, I'm selling them. Well, he wasn't selling them. He was actually taking them, so he became addicted to them. He became extremely mean. Anytime I would question him about anything, it started with yelling. He would yell at me. He would call me out my name. He would just, you know, the typical stuff, how it starts. The yelling, the name calling, the degrading. He was verbally and emotionally he was just abusive. Emotionally, verbally, and just spiritually abusive in the beginning. I did everything I could to try to make our marriage better. I offered marriage counseling. He denied and refused. Like, no, black people don't go to marriage counseling, and we gonna fix this on our own. But we couldn't fix it because I would still check his phone. He would still not come in. Now mind you, I'm still trying to get my strength back from being sick. So I'm getting better, and I'm now questioning him every time he does anything out of order or anything that I think he's doing wrong. I'm questioning him. So now he's beginning to be physically abusive. Now he wants to, every time I ask him about anything, he wants to choke me. He know I'm not strong enough to fight him back. So the first time he choked me, yes, I just let it go. I took his apologies like most women do, and I just, you know, continue to work on my marriage. Oh, I'll never do it. I'm sorry. I fell for the okie doke, like most women do. Fast forward to 2017. We're good. His aunt and uncle, they have a beach house on the beach. So we go to the beach house because they're there. They're snowbirds. So they're there visiting. We go to the beach house. We're having a good time. We spend like hours on the beach. I mean, had a great day. Flying kites, had a barbecue. We had a whole cabana on the beach. When I say it was such a perfect day, I was like, okay, well, maybe, you know, made me love him again. Like, maybe this can get back how it was. So we get home. On our way home, he's like not himself. He's like not talking. He's extremely quiet. And I'm like, what's wrong with you? He's like, yeah, my uncle asked me why you get so snappy with him. I'm like, I didn't get snappy with your uncle. He's like, yes, you did. He asked you if you wanted some wine, and you told him you didn't want it and you don't drink that kind of wine. Like, just really picking a frivolous fight. I'm like, yeah, what is really wrong? So I'm like, what is really wrong? What's the problem? So in Florida, the part that we lived in, there's a bridge to get back to our house. It's literally called the 3 Mile Bridge because it's 3 miles to get over the oceans back to the city. So that entire ride over the bridge, we were literally arguing about a glass of wine and me not wanting wine. He was just like, you're so disrespectful. If my uncle asked you for wine, you should have took the effing wine. Like, he was cussing, screaming. Now, mind you, my daughter's in the back. And it's not his daughter, but my daughter was in the back. And she's crying because she's like, okay, I know that when we get home, this is about to get physical because the way he's talking to my mom. So she's like, everybody just calm down. She didn't get smart with your uncle. she just didn't want wine. And he's like, you shut the F up, little girl. And I'm like, wait, did you just cuss at my daughter? So literally, we're arguing back and forth on this 3-mile bridge. There's no way to get off this bridge. You can't make U-turns because it's a barrier in between. He literally stopped in the middle of traffic and said, I will crash this motherfucking car and kill all of us if you don't shut the fuck up, you and your daughter. And I'm like, okay. So I just shut up because I'm afraid at this point. So we get home, the car rat, you can hear pins drop. Because I'm not saying nothing. I don't want to like spark him off because I know he's already choked me once. I don't want it to get physical, so I'm just being quiet. So we get home. My daughter goes in her room, and the way our condo was set up, my daughter's room was in the front, but she had her own bathroom. Our room is in the back, but she can hear everything we say if we're loud. So we get to the room, and he slams the door, he takes me, and he chokes me, throws me on the bed, and calls me all kind of bitches and disrespectful and all of that. And so he leaves. He's like, I'm not doing this, I'm leaving because I know your punk ass will call the police. And I'm like, okay. So he leaves. But when he leaves his phone. So I go through his phone. The reason he's being so mean to me is because the same girl, Diane, from the bar and from Destin, is texting him, trying to get him to come out and be with her. And in order for him to do that, he has to pick a fight with me, knowing I will be like, okay, well, he's going to leave. And if he leaves, then he won't mess with me. So he left. He left his phone. When he came back, he saw that I had been through his phone. So he said, so I thought we were trying to work on our marriage. So you don't trust me? You're going through my phone? I said, well, apparently we're not working on our marriage because Diane is trying to get in touch with you, and that's where you're trying to go. So he literally slammed me against the wall, started smacking me, punching me, because he's upset that I'm saying, you know, if you want to be with her, be with her. This marriage is over. So he's like literally being so abusive. So I run out to the dining room portion to clean my face up because I don't want to see my daughter. I want my daughter to see me like this. So he's like, so you want to get out this marriage? I'm like, yeah, this over. You putting your hands on me, you cheating on me, you know, this over. He goes and gets 2 guns. He loads them, cocks them, and put them both to my head. He says, the only way you're getting out this marriage tonight is through death. He said, we signed up for death do us part, and that's how we both leaving tonight. It's like, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to kill me. No, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to kill your daughter, and I'm going to kill myself. So thank God, like I said, my daughter can hear us. She hears me say, oh, you going to put some guns to my head? She calls the police. The police is on the phone with her the whole time. The police hear him, like, talking mad smack. Like, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to kill myself, I'm going to kill your daughter. So the police tell my daughter, because we were on the main floor, the police tell my daughter, like, what's the best entrance into the house? My daughter said, my bedroom window is on the porch. He said, open the window. The police climbed through my daughter's window. Came through the bathroom, because the bathroom, her bathroom and our dining room connects. The police came through the bathroom. He don't know the police in there, so the other police are knocking on the door. So my daughter opens her door because the police in the bathroom telling her, go out and open the door for them. She opens the door. He takes the gun, points it to her and say, bitch, if you open that door, I'm going to shoot you. The police came out the bathroom and got him. And my daughter opened the door for the police. As he's going out, he's like, this ain't over, bitch. As soon as I find you, I'm killing you and your daughter. So I put him in jail. He spent 2 years in jail. When he got out of jail, he moved back to Detroit because we were both from Detroit. After I got better and my daughter graduated from high school, I too moved to Detroit. As soon as he found out I was in Detroit, he stalked me every day. He sent me messages. He would show up at my job. He would send people to my house to leave stuff on my porch. So I went and got a PPO out on him. When he got served with the PPO, He's like, would you think this piece of paper gonna save you? It's like it'll take, we live in Detroit now, we don't live in Florida. It'll take 10 minutes before the police even get here. That's plenty of time to kill you. So this man literally threatened me, stalked my daughter for years. It wasn't up until last year, during 2021, during COVID, that he stopped stalking me, because my brother finally got out of jail and went and saw him, and that's what stopped him from stalking me and threatening me. So now I have a permanent PPO out on him, and I have my gun license. So yeah, so that's my story. And my advice to women would be, follow your gut. If you think something is wrong, it probably is. Don't listen to them. Don't fall for the okie doke, because had my daughter not heard us, I wouldn't be here today. When the police took the guns away from him, they were literally loaded in the chamber. One was a revolver. Literally, had he just pushed that trigger just by mistake, I would have been dead. So value yourself. Know your worth. Know when something's wrong in your relationship. Don't let them choke you and say, oh, I'm sorry, I'll never do it again. Because if they choke you once and they see that you will let it go, they'll continue to do it. It'll just get worse. Over time, it just got worse. Like, he would choke me, he would push me, it was just horrible. He would verbally, I think that's the most downgrading and degrading thing ever, is to be verbally abused, to be called out your name, to be belittled. I think that's worse than physical sometimes. So don't even accept verbal abuse from your mate. If he is verbally abusive to you, he's trying to keep you away from your family, because that's essentially what he did. He kept me away from my family. He just wanted me to himself. I couldn't do anything with my kids. He would get jealous. It was just horrible. So just know your worth. Know that, you know, you're worthy of being loved properly. You're worthy that nobody should put their hands on you. Love should not hurt. That's the bottom line. It should not hurt. If you're in a relationship where someone is raising their voice at you or being disrespectful to you, that's just the beginning of what could come. I have friends who can't sit here today because they believe that the person that loved them wouldn't do anything to them, and now they're in the grave. So don't be where they are.
So, how was that for you?
It's good.
So, do you think that telling your story could be somewhat therapeutic for you and for others?
It is. It's like when you hold stuff in, it becomes emotionally a part of you.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like if you don't tell your story, even if I can help one person,
mm-hmm.
then I'm healed.
And I think about your daughter because as a kid, I witnessed my mother being abused, not just by one man, but two. Mm-hmm. One happened to be my father.
See.
And one happened to be my siblings, my younger brother's dad. And it was just like to see them having her by the hair, pulling her across the floor. Mm-hmm. Two different men doing the exact same thing. And it's like, being a child, I felt weak. Like, man, I can't even do nothing.
Can't do anything.
I'm the oldest son and I can't even do nothing to protect my own mother. You know what I'm saying? And so a lot of times those men that commit these acts, they don't think about what they're doing to the kid, because I'm over 50 now and it still affects me to this day.
Yeah.
You know, and seeing that, you know, you as a mother and then seeing my mother had to pretty much, while they're going through that, trying to defend and protect you, and they couldn't protect themselves.
Yeah. I thank God for her, because had she not heard that me say, so you're going to pull a gun on me? When she heard it, she was smart enough to call the police. You know, she wasn't like most kids like you who feel weak and just hide in the closet or just get under her covers and, you know, she literally saved my life. She literally saved my life.
And how's your relationship today, you and your daughter?
Me and we're close. We're like best friends. She is very protective of me still. Still, right now today. She's very protective. She don't want nobody yelling at me. And I think this taught her too of what she will and will not take in a relationship. You know.
And so now that she's in her relationship, have she ever encountered the abuse herself? Or someone tried to abuse her?
She, if somebody even raises their voice at her or even says something disrespectful to her, she's out. But I told her, you know, you can't just be out from what you saw, witness from me. She's like, no, I saw it, I saw it escalate. I was a kid, but I saw it. I saw how y'all were so perfect. Y'all did everything together, travel, dates, everything. Manage money. Oh, that's another thing that I didn't mention, that even though I was the breadwinner and we had a lucrative, kind of successful little bar, restaurant, he still would steal money from me. But he would steal money from me to treat the girls. I guess. But remember, I was sick, so I was on short-term disability, but I'm a nurse, so I would bring in still $2,700 a month just on short-term disability. So I'm like, wow, how is this bill bouncing and it's coming directly out my account? So I would call to make my account overdrawn. How's my account overdrawn? I'm sick and I'm not spending money. The only thing that's coming out is the bills. Yeah, and he would be spending money, $500-$600 a week. On what? I don't know. Then I would be like, well, what are you taking my money for? He's like, well, the car note was due. I'm like, no, that comes straight out my account. So that wasn't, like, well, they weren't able to pull it. And then I look back at my accounts and I see the deductions, 500 here, 700 there. So I'm like, this whole time this man was taking my money, treating these girls at my expense.
Your expense.
Yeah.
So how do the experience affects how you date now?
So yeah, I mean, me, I don't know. I date now. I'm afraid to 100% let myself go. 200%, I don't like anybody knowing my finances now. I have like 3 separate accounts because I'm afraid somebody gonna take some money. You know, it's like it got me so on edge now. It's hard. It took me a long time to even date now. It took me a long time. I was single and divorced for 5 years. I was celibate for that whole time because I just didn't trust men. I did not trust them. I didn't. So, yeah, it took a long time. It really did.
Well, thank you for telling your story.
You're welcome.